It was past midnight, the streets glistening under the cold drizzle, when Anna, a tired single mother, pulled her old, rattling car to the side of the road. Her shift at the diner had ended hours ago, but life had demanded more from her that day. With bills stacked on the kitchen counter, a sick child waiting at home, and a future she couldn't quite see, she felt weighed down in ways she never let anyone notice. Yet that night, fate intervened. A man stumbled out of the shadows, drenched in rain, his suit crumpled, his eyes bloodshot with exhaustion and alcohol. He was the kind of man who seemed completely out of place in her world, expensive watch slipping on his wrist, polished shoes ruined by the puddles, and a presence that screamed of boardrooms and skyscrapers rather than broken-down diners and single-bedroom apartments. She almost drove past him. Almost. But something in his helplessness tugged at her. She stopped, rolled down the window, and asked if he needed help. That single moment, that small decision, would unravel into a story that changed everything she thought she knew about kindness, struggle, and second chances. If you believe that one small act of kindness can ripple into something life-changing, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Moonlight Stories. Your support keeps these stories alive and helps us bring more heart-touching moments to you. As Anna let the man into her car, the sharp scent of whiskey filled the small space. He was half-conscious, muttering words she couldn't fully understand, but she caught fragments, apologies whispered to no one, curses spat at himself, names repeated with regret. She kept her hands tight on the wheel, cautious but unwilling to abandon him on that lonely road. He gave her an address, slurred and uncertain, and she drove toward the high-rise part of town she rarely visited, where glass towers pierced the clouds and doormen in uniforms waited under golden lights. With every passing block, her stomach tightened. She knew she didn't belong in that world, yet here she was, ferrying a man who looked like he'd stepped out of the life she had only seen in magazines. She didn't know his name, and he didn't ask for hers, but she couldn't help but wonder what had broken a man who seemingly had everything. When they reached his building, she helped him stumble through the marble lobby, drawing stares from security guards who knew him but didn't move to assist. They whispered, eyes wide, but stayed silent as if afraid. She guided him into the private elevator and finally into an apartment so breathtaking it made her pause, floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the sleeping city, shelves lined with books and art worth more than her entire life's savings, and the smell of wealth lingering in every corner. She laid him carefully on the couch, draped a blanket over him, and was about to leave when she noticed the family pictures on the wall. His smile in those photos was radiant, but in the car, he had looked like a shattered version of himself. Against her better judgment, she scribbled her number on a piece of paper and left it on the coffee table with a note, "You were safe tonight. Take care of yourself." She walked away, never expecting to hear from him again. But the next morning, her phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. His voice, sober and heavy with sincerity, thanked her for what she had done. He introduced himself as Daniel Carter, a name she recognized instantly. He wasn't just wealthy, he was the CEO of a multinational corporation whose face appeared in business magazines. Yet on the phone, he sounded nothing like the untouchable titan she imagined. He asked if he could meet her, to repay the kindness she had shown. She almost said no, but something inside her, perhaps curiosity, perhaps hope, made her agree. They met at a quiet cafe, and Daniel was almost unrecognizable. No tailored suit, no bravado, only a man weighed down by invisible battles. He confessed to her that he was drowning in grief after losing his wife in a tragic accident, hiding his pain in work and alcohol. Her kindness the night before had pierced through his spiral in a way nothing else had. From that moment, their worlds intertwined. He began visiting her diner, sometimes sitting in the corner just to see her work, other times striking up conversations that stretched late into the night. For Anna, it was surreal, a man from skyscrapers and limousines choosing to sit on cracked vinyl stools in a run-down diner. For Daniel, it was healing, finding someone who saw him as a man, not as a title or a bank account. Slowly, walls came down. He learned about her son, Ethan, a bright-eyed boy who dreamed of becoming an astronaut but whose asthma often kept him from playing outside. He learned about her struggles, the endless shifts, the quiet tears behind closed doors, the way she carried the world without complaint. And she, in turn, learned about his loneliness, his mistakes, his desire to live again. But not everyone accepted their bond. Her coworkers whispered behind her back, warning her not to be fooled, that men like him played with women like her. His business associates frowned at the idea of him spending time with a woman who had nothing to offer in their eyes. Even his own family raised eyebrows, convinced she was after his wealth. The weight of judgment pressed on Anna, and there were nights she lay awake wondering if she was indeed walking into a disaster. But each time she thought of leaving, Daniel's quiet, genuine smile, the one he reserved only for her and Ethan, reminded her that sometimes, love doesn't come dressed the way the world expects. As months passed, Daniel grew closer not just to Anna, but to Ethan. He showed up at soccer games, holding inhalers just in case. He helped with homework, turning math problems into games that made Ethan laugh until his cheeks hurt. He filled the apartment Anna once thought was too small with warmth, laughter, and a sense of security she hadn't known in years. Slowly, the fear in her heart gave way to something she hadn't allowed herself to feel: hope. The kind of hope that whispers of a future where love and struggle coexist, where broken souls heal together. And then came the moment Anna never expected. One evening, after a long day, Daniel asked her to drive with him. They returned to the very street where she had first stopped her car months ago, the rain drizzling again as if fate wanted to remind them. Standing under the same street lamp where she had once found him broken, Daniel knelt down and, with tears in his eyes, told her that she had saved him that night, not just from himself, but from losing all faith in life. He asked her to be his partner, not because of what she had done for him, but because of who she was: strong, kind, and unshakably real. Tears blurred Anna's vision as Ethan, holding her hand, whispered, "Say yes, Mom." And in that rain-soaked moment, she realized that sometimes life gives second chances not wrapped in perfection, but in broken pieces that fit together. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Moonlight Stories. Your support helps us continue to bring powerful, emotional stories that remind us of the beauty of kindness and the miracles of second chances. Special request: comment below with the words, "Kindness changes everything," if you believe that even the smallest good deed can transform a life forever.